Hey guys, welcome to Mrs. G's Sewing Space. Today we're going to be talking about fly front zippers. Hey guys, so today we're talking about fly front zippers. So this is a video for those who are a little more advanced. A very beginner could probably do it, but you'll probably find it a little complicated. But if you have some sewing skills underneath your belt, if you're kind of between beginner and intermediate, if you feel like, or maybe a little more advanced intermediate, then this will be for you. So I'm going to show you how to do this according to the instructions from this book. This is Sandra Betzina, and this is her book called Power Sewing. Now, I picked this up a long time ago, and it has a whole lot of tips and tricks in here. But my most favorite trick is the fly front zipper. You can see all my little my tips and trips that I've marked. So it's a step-by-step with photos, mostly photos. Sometimes it's a little hard to figure out, but that's why I'm here to make a video. So if you want to go into more details, what she says, look for her online, Sandra Betzina, and the book is called Power Sewing. And I'll put the description and the link down below for you guys. So this is where I'm getting this from. And this is what it looks like. So these shorts are not complete. I haven't put them together yet, but I've just put the fly front in right here. So it's a little crazy. I don't know if you can see it very well considering that the dinosaur fabric is going crazy. But here it is, so that you can see. We have a fly front zipper, and then we also have, hold on, let me zip that back up. So that's the front. You might be able to see, you're not going to be able to see the stitching because I did stitching in black, but you might be able to see right there. So there's the fly front right here. And this is what the back looks like. So it looks just like, it looks very similar to ready to wear, but I explain everything to you in the video. So let's go ahead and get to the video. As awesome as these instructions are for putting a fly front zipper on, there are some things you need to remember. When you are preparing your fabric, serge all your edges. So if you see here at the bottom, I did not serge the crotch line right here, and I should have. I had to go back and do a whip stitch over the edges so that the edges of my fabric won't fray any longer, which you can do, but it would have matched and looked a whole lot better and more professional if I had serged everything before I even put anything together. So while my fabric was still flat before I put the zipper in, if I had gone back and serged all my edges or zigzagged all my edges before putting anything together, that would have been a lot cleaner. Another thing to remember, when you are putting the basting stitch in to put your pants together as the very first step to putting your pants together, you need to make sure that you baste to where the bottom of your zipper would be, and then from the bottom of your zipper, or just a little bit above where your zipper would be. So the bottom of my zipper stop is right here. So right here is where my zipper stop is. You need to baste to like right there or right above it, and then you need to stitch your normal stitching from that point down to this point. So this small section is only a couple inches long, but you need to make sure right here, this section right here, from the bottom of yours where your zipper is going to be to like your mid crotch, you need to use the regular stitching length. I use 2.6 on my sewing machine, and you need to make sure that you use that for this. So don't baste from top all the way to the bottom. Baste from your top. Baste from your top all the way down to where the bottom of your zipper is going to be, and then just a little bit above that, start your stitching for your normal stitch length and go to like your mid crotch point. Because when the time comes and you pull your basting out, if you do not have this part stitched with your regular stitch length, then after you complete your zipper, you're not going to be able to get in to stitch it up like you ought to on the other side, because you now have this stitched down, and that's not going to be, that's going to be in the way. Your fly front's going to be in the way from the inside to be able to get where you need to get to be able to stitch down that area right here. So make sure you do that in the beginning. Baste here to where the bottom of your zipper is going to be, and then a couple of stitches up, regular stitch from there to here. So you need to get above that stopper on your zipper, so that way you won't have to try like I did. I had to go back and I had to stitch by hand. I had to back stitch through that right there. Okay, I was going to do a voiceover for the entire video, but I find myself talking in my head what I'm planning to do as I'm filming, and so the voiceover isn't going to work for me. So I'm going to pick it up from here. So what we did for these pair pants, so these pair pants have the fly front already included. I've already added it to the pattern and cut them out, so both pieces have the fly front right here, the extension. I interfaced where the zipper would go on both sides, so there would be strength and durability for the zipper as we sew it together. And I went ahead and did a basting stitch, and that's the longest stitch on my machine, so I can pull it out easily later. Basted stitch down the center front and partway down the seam. I stopped about 1 inch away from the end of the crotch line right here. That's as far as I need to go. So my next step is actually inserting the zipper. So when I insert the zipper, I'm going to fold this flap over like this. I'm going to finger press it down. Finger press, finger press, finger press. And then I'm going to take the zipper that I'm going to use, and I'm going to use an extra long zipper. So this zipper is longer than the finished product's going to be, and that's fine, because you can always trim down the length of zipper that you need, but you can never add to it. So if you have something that you're going to apply a zipper to, always get something 1 inch or 2 longer. That way it builds in the length that you need. You can always trim it down, but you can't add to it. So I'm going to take this zipper and I'm going to flip it over so it's face down. So the pull to the zipper is facing the table. I'm going to lay it here and I'm going to butt it up against the seam line right here, like this. So that even though the zipper has gone above my waistline, it'll be trimmed down when I add the waistband later. So that's okay. But the zipper stop here, that little metal clamp that's on the bottom of the zipper, I'm going to line that up here at the bottom, because that's where we're gonna keep the stopper here, but we can trim all this off later. So we're gonna say about 1 inch above the bottom, about right here, or however you want it. I'm gonna pin that down. So it might be a little difficult to see because my zipper is dark. But here we go. So this is the center seam right here, and I have my zipper face down with the edge of the zipper tape bumped up against that center seam. And now I'm going to stitch. Okay, now that you have your zipper pinned down, you need to sew on this side. So using your zipper tape, using your zipper foot, sew down here. And you want to get relatively close to the teeth, not too close, you want a little space, but you know, don't feel like you have to sew way over here on the edge. You can get close to the teeth over here, because if you look at a regular pair of jeans, you'll see that the teeth are, the zipper tape is sewn close to the teeth on both sides. So it's okay to feel like if you get too close, you don't want to be right there on the teeth, but you want to leave a little space, and so very similar to this. So I'm going to go and I'm going to sew about right here down my zipper tape, getting close to my teeth, but not like right on top of my teeth. Alright. Okay, so now that we've sewn down this edge, I've taken our pins out and we're going to flip our zipper over just like this. So we're going to tuck in our extension to the back side, flatten it out, and we're going to finger press this seam right here. So our next step is to sew right here down our zipper all the way to the bottom. So we're securing 3 layers of fabric. So 2 layers of extension and 1 layer of zipper tape. So we're going to go sew that down right here, and I'll be back for our next step. Okay, so now that I have a stitching line here holding down the top 2 layers of extension and the zipper tape underneath it, we're going to flip this over to the other side. And now we're going to deal with the other extension. Now we're going to sew the unsewn zipper tape to the unsewn fly extension here. And all we're going to do, if you've done this part right here, then your zipper should lay flat, your seams should be finger pressed, and everything should be lovely and laying flat. And if they are, then you can move to the next step. But if you have any type of wibbling, wobbling, any type of wrinkling, you need to go back and fix it before you continue on. So if we're good and everything's done and flat, then all you do is tug on your zipper tape just a little bit to make sure there's no wrinkles or anything in there, and then you're going to sew. So I'm going to pin this down. Right here, and this is where you're going to sew. Using your zipper foot, you're going to sew down this edge. Remember, you want to get close to the teeth, but not on top of the teeth. You still need plenty of room. Use your zipper foot. Your zipper foot should have the buffer that you need on it already. So just use your zipper foot and sew down this side, sewing the fly extension to the zipper. And I'll be right back. Now that that's done, we've sewn the zipper down to both fly fronts. We're going to open our pants, and you can see I've already drawn it here. So we're going to make sure our zipper is laying flat, flatten it out, just like this. And now we need to draw on the stitching to go around the zipper for our overlap. So just straighten that out, pull the seam here. Your zipper should be laying flat and face up, so you should have your zipper pull right here. And all you do is draw your stitching line, catching the zipper and all the layers of fabric down and around to the bottom. Now right here, you're not going to be able to see it, but right here just above my fingernail is my zipper stop. So I'm going to sew right above it. I'm going to make sure I go over the zipper, but not over the zipper stop. Do not put your needle through that zipper stop. It will break your needle. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to sew around this curve and up this line. I'm going to pin it in place. And I'm making sure that I hit the zipper and all layers of fabric. Just so that, okay? We're almost done. Once we're done with that, we'll have one last step and then we'll be good. So I'm going to start right here and I'm going to back stitch here. This is a stress point on your pants, so when you open and close your pants and you're zipping up and down, that's a stress point. So I'm going to do some back stitching here, and then I'm going to stitch along here and just let it go off the top, because all this will be covered when I put my waistband on. Okay, I know you're not going to be able to see the stitching, but I did stitch around as nicely as I could around the curve. It was a little rough. Slow curves are not the best, but if you take your time and go slowly and pay attention, these are shorts for my daughter, so I'm not that worried about it. But you just back stitch here and just follow the curve, which I kind of did not. But I just went with it anyways, made sure I caught all the layers. Here's the back. So there's that line of stitching right there. It's right there on the edge of my zipper tape. And now for our last bit. All we have to do is go back and remove the basting that held that in place. Alright, so now I've removed the basting. You're going to have to pick out all that extra stuff. But that's fine. But see, here you go. And there is your fly front zipper. And remember, you need to do this before you put your pants together, because if you put your fronts and your backs together, you're not going to be able to do this. It's just too complicated. It's easier to do it while it's flat. So here you go. You test it out. There you go. It opens up. You have your stopper at the bottom so it won't go too far down. and you stitched extra. Whoa, sorry, I keep pulling threads out here. There you go. So we took care of our stress point by back tacking. Some people like to do a really thin, tight zigzag stitch here at the bottom, like you would see on ready-to-wear pants. When you can do that too. I just did back stitching a couple of times here to give it strength. Follow it up around, and there we go. Just like that. And that's how you... Now I can go put the whole pant together and add my waistband and everything else. Now, your fly front is now officially done. But if you want, you can add the extension cover here to the back, which is what I'll probably do. So I'm going to go and serge these edges here, and I'm going to cut out a piece of fabric that's about like that. And I'm going to show you how to put the back extension on so that, you know, your pants will look more professional, like what you see in ready to wear. So I'll be right back. I gotta go cut out this fabric first. Okay, so what I did is I took a piece of rectangular fabric. So it was rectangular at one point. I took a piece of rectangular fabric and folded it in half to make sure that it would fit over the edge and could still be sewn upon. And then I interfaced one side of it. So I interfaced one side of it for strength. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to serge here, and then serge this one separately, and then I'm just going to sew it on top. So I would sew it all the way to here. Okay. So I was just looking at a pair of ready-to-wear jeans. So they serge it right here to like right here, and then they like back tack right here, so that, you know, you can still get your zipper up and down. Everything is still attached, but you have this whole side loose. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So once again, serge here, serge here. I'm going to serge here, and then we'll go attach it, and we'll sew down here, and I'll stop right here at the bottom. And then I'll backstitch over here. Alright, let me go get that done real quick. Okay, and here we are. I have my threads all over the place I haven't cleaned up. I still got to put the pants together. But here we are, our final zipper. This is the back of it. So like I said, I tacked here and here at the bottom, sewed on here, so it's all sewn on. Here's the front of the zipper. So I sewed here, and if we unzip, there is our zipper and fly front to allow my daughter to get in and out of her shorts. And that is how you do a fly front zipper. So if you like it, give me a thumbs up. Always leave comments below. I will give information on what the book is to so that you can go out and get it yourself or find it in the library if you want it. And I'll put that in the description box below as well. If you have any questions, problems, if you want to just chit chat with me, throw it all in the comments below, or you can try my Facebook page, Mrs. G Sews, or any other way of contacting me is all in my social media at the end of the video, where you can also find more videos and a button to subscribe to my channel. I appreciate you guys being here with me, and I will see you in the next video.
Bum 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 bum